Hey, we are going inside the studio. I have got two founders of a fitness concept, a boutique fitness concept. They are redefining what a workout means and the kind of results that you can get in as little as 30 minutes. You are not going to want to miss this episode.
This is the Franchise Pitfalls and Profit Show. Each week, we bring you the challenges and triumphs of being in the franchise development and consulting business. The things you need to make money faster. And now your host, one of the most successful franchise developers in North America, Don Shin.
Hey, welcome Mike and Corey Beth. Papowski. I have got an awesome audience. I've got an awesome interview here today. We have two fitness founders. They are rocking the world with something totally different. I know that because I did the workout. It was a blast. These guys have flipped the typical gym concept on its head. No more this big box, go whenever you feel like it, and nobody cares if you ever show up concept. They're building community. They're doing this in trainer-run small groups because it's for, as far as a model of a franchise, it is for high retention and repeat business. And bottom line, they care about people getting results. And so I am excited. Mike and Corey Beth, thanks so much for giving me your time today.
Thank you so much, Don. We're happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, hey, anything else on an introduction, Mike, as we kind of get started, or Corey Beth, anything else you want to build on that? I'm just jazzed by what you guys are doing. Your concept's so cool, so unique. It's got such potential for franchise owners. So, but anything as far as how you guys got started, if I remember correctly, you guys were working on your own personal fitness and built this whole concept out from that. Is that not right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I will keep the story very short, but I think it's also important to paint the picture of how we arrived here. For me, my fitness journey actually began when I was about 7 years old. At that time, you had Hulkamania was running wild. Lou Ferrigno was the Incredible Hulk. You had Christopher Reeves was Superman. I had a crush on Wonder Woman. And I just wanted to be strong and fit like my heroes. And at the time, my parents would not allow me to lift weights. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. We know today that it is a myth that you can't lift weights when you're young. But at that time, they said, no, you're going to have to wait a little while. So I waited 6 years. And when I finally made it into a gym, I did what everybody else in the gym did, which was I was there for anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes a day. I was there anywhere from 5 to 7 days a week. And that was the pattern that I followed for the next 9 years or so. When I graduated college, which was with a degree in physical education, I became a personal trainer. And then that was my first introduction to high intensity strength training. And this totally changed everything for me because my workout time got cut in half, if not by more. My total number of days per week went from 5 to 7 down to 2 to 3. And yet I got better results. And so as a personal trainer, that became the foundation of what I did moving forward. And when Corey Beth came on the scene, I was running a one-on-one personal training studio. But the limiting factor there was what I just said, one-on-one. And there was not that much I could do in terms of serving a broader audience. Corey Beth came in initially as a client herself. I'll let her tell that story. But together, what we did is we cracked the code on small group personal training. And what was so different about this is that we created an atmosphere where the workouts felt like you were in a big group energetic class, but it had the feel of one-on-one personal training. And most of our groups will fall anywhere between 3 and 6 clients at a time with one personal trainer. We'll have groups that go as many as 8 clients with 2 trainers running it. So that's a little bit about the model.
Yeah, I think
I've got it, and I will jump in from time to time here to interrupt you. But no, in doing the workout was so beneficial to me working with you in the long run. And you're absolutely right. I felt like you were there the whole time, and yet you weren't there with me the whole time. You had 5 or 6 other people in the class. So really cool. So Corey Beth, tell us the juicy part of the story here.
So juicy. I think every great story begins with how can I? And as I had graduated college, went on to go get my master's degree, I was teaching. So I came from a teaching background, and I tried every gym in the area trying to lose weight and get healthy. And as I came across this model that touted things like half the time and double the results, I was like, well, how does that actually work? And so upon joining, I trained for a number of months. Mike did break his cardinal rule of don't date a client. I think he might have even ran it by his parents, which I thought was very admirable at the time. And I got, sucked into this world of fitness. And for me, it was the first thing that worked. I did hours of cardio. I did the elliptical. I did the treadmill. I hated all of it, to be honest, but I was carrying around 30 pounds of extra weight. I was teaching, I was drinking wine at night to decompress from my students that I loved so very much. And I needed a change. And so this for me was the first time my body began to transform. But the greatest part was there's no cardio. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how can we get this into the hands of everyone? And so as Mike and I began to work together, I did leave my teaching career and job, much to the dismay of parents, who helped foot the bill for many degrees. But we get to use them all the time in business, right? Because we want to make it simple. We want to make it teachable, coachable, accountable, lean, and understandable for the everyday person. And the fact that we can save people so much time, we can create an amazing business model that can be operated anywhere in the country for small groups of people. I mean, it's a win-win home run for people looking, that are passionate about fitness, but also looking to start a business because it's something that means something to them.
Yeah. So I'm going to get ahead of myself, which I won't do, but yeah, I love the concept. It's so good for the end customer, and yet it's so good for the gym owner as well. Smaller footprints and so on and so forth. So we'll get there. So let's start back from thinking about when you first decided to turn this into a franchise. What was your vision at first as you were even just contemplating becoming a franchise? And then has that changed at all since you've now been in it a couple of years?
Initially, the thought of franchising actually developed when I was probably in my mid-20s and read the book, The E-Myth, which I'm sure many in your audience have read themselves, are familiar with. And in that book, where they lay out why you want to put together practices, processes, you want to document all of it, I thought this is a great idea because one day, I don't know how, but I would love to expand this business because I knew that we could never be impactful being just a one studio with maybe 1 to 3 trainer type operation. So from there, when we decided that it was time to expand, Corey Beth and I had a lot of conversations about this because we weren't quite sure that franchising was the way to go. Should we just simply open another studio? Maybe we'll just open up a chain of them. And it was actually seeking wise counsel that one gentleman who owned 22 ophthalmology centers in our area, he happened to also be a client. He said, what's your vision in the future for you two and running this business? Do you want to have multiple locations that you have to be responsible for, hire for, spend a lot of time in each one, checking on constantly, making sure everybody's doing their job? And we're like, wow, that sounds absolutely terrible. He's like, well, that's what I did. Your other option is you could franchise. And I had already looked into franchising at that point. And we thought, you know what, that actually is more suitable for us and what we saw as our future lifestyle.
I was going to say, I think you could be the leader or you could build leaders. And our vision always is to raise up leaders. I mean, it's great to be the leader, but life is so much more rewarding when you can build other leaders into a position of leadership. I mean, that's what we've been able to do with franchising. Yeah,
and it's interesting that he described it the way he did because I'm in the middle of doing a webinar. I've done some podcasts on scaling, and it's exactly that thought process. It's comparing the 4 or 5 or 6 different ways that you can actually scale, and he hit the nail on the head. that could be a way for some people to scale. Is totally opening them all themselves and wanting that type of total control. Yours is, and I love how Corey Beth just said it. You want to help others in the business for themselves, raise up other leaders in other communities, and you can't be in all the communities that your gyms are going to open. So that's awesome. So now that you've been doing this for a while, that was going in. Any changes in your vision after a couple of years of actually getting up and running and having several gyms open?
I would say we're thinking bigger, if anything. With working with the people we've had the opportunity to work with and being able to watch some of these leaders begin to grow and consider expanding their operations, it makes us realize, I think, as we get better at coaching others, that the opportunities become that much greater. As we're learning more about the ins and outs of franchising, it becomes a little less scary and a little bit more realistic with regards to how this goes from a smaller operation to a mid-size operation to maybe something that is global. So for me personally, it's seeing that there's a broad opportunity out there for us, and we're fulfilling a very, very unique niche. And so if we can continue to just do what we're doing and get better ourselves, that'll improve those around us. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to see this brand blow up.
Yeah,
I would only echo that, honestly. When he said bigger, I'm like, did he just take the words out of my head, which happens all the time? But I think we're thinking bigger. It's been a really exciting year. In fact, we have one of our owners is opening another unit, and that type of growth is really exciting because you start to see, she's grown in her leadership and leading abilities, being an owner, raising up other leaders. I mean, it's this amazing ripple effect that happens, and it becomes exciting. We like to travel, and a lot of our owners also share that passion. And I'll just tell you, it's very disappointing to go somewhere and not have a Pure Physique. You got to walk into this big gym. You got to fight for equipment. Your workout takes forever. I'm like, oh man, it would be so much easier to go skiing and be able to get a workout in, outside of skiing.
I love it. So you could target where you want to go. I like to ski, so we better open some, in Colorado. And well, Mike, you talked about learning franchising, and I've for years now, I've told people, you could be really good at your main business, but franchising is a whole nother thing. It's almost like learning a whole nother business while you're trying to put that franchise together for the business that really, really well. So talk to us about some of your greatest challenges. Give me one or two things, that were a challenge. And I'm always curious if you had anticipated the challenge.
Well, did I anticipate it? I mean, I knew it'd be challenging for sure. However, I'll say this, just going back to the E-Myth for a moment. There is that technician, the person who is really good at what they do. And so it becomes a great idea to open this business. And then you realize that there's so much that you need to learn about business. Well, I think franchise is the next iteration of that. You went from the technician to now the business owner, and now we're transitioning to franchisor. And that is a very, very different hat from being the business owner. You have to understand the business owner. You have to know what they're going through, what their challenges are going to be. But now you're sitting in the position where you're a little bit more responsible because you are the one who is supposed to be leading, guiding, and directing them and helping them with the framework that's going to make them successful. In terms of things that I didn't foresee, there's a lot of things I didn't foresee. I think give me one. Somebody that's sitting and watching this thinking of converting their business into a franchise. Well, I don't know. I feel like right now Corey Beth is itching to provide one. So actually, I'm going to turn to her for the moment.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like, listen, in business and in life, it's kind of like parenting. You don't get a manual or a handbook for a lot of this. And a lot of it you do figure out as you go. You don't know what you don't know. I would say the biggest challenge right now is keeping everyone focused on the main thing. It's wanting to make the main thing the main thing. And I love Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, which talks about focusing on one thing and what is the one thing that we have to do, such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier. And so it's very easy as an entrepreneur to get shiny syndrome where you're like, oh, that looks great, or oh, I want to carry that, or I want to carry that. So it's always honing things back in on our leadership meetings with our owners that, hey, if we're delivering world-class workouts, everything else is easier and better. Retention is there, clients are happy, trainers know what their role is. It's always making the one thing. So I would say that has been a challenge. And then another challenge we recently came across was real estate. There's a lot of shifting in the United States right now of where people are living, and you do see cities and states like Tennessee or like Charlotte, North Carolina, they're exploding, and the infrastructure there is working to keep up with all of these people moving into these areas. So that probably has been the biggest, most recent challenge, is helping our franchisees to secure the proper real estate and the proper area as things explode.
I would say too, the other challenge is just getting the franchisees better at business, because so many people, they step into this because it's their passion, because they want to help, because they want to create a lifestyle business for them and for their families. And they get in and realize there's a lot of things that I don't know. I mean, we've all heard it before, you don't know what you don't know. And that seems to be the case for a lot of, at least the franchisors or franchisees, I should say, that we're working with right now. I recognize that can change over time, that maybe it's the waves start to shift where there's more franchisees coming in that are business minded. But for us, because we've been growing organically, because so much of this has stemmed from the inside out. Corey Beth made a mention moments ago about one of our franchisees who's opening her second location. Well, what we didn't mention about that particular owner is that 2 other franchisees came out of her studio. We had trainers who saw the operations and said, this looks great. This is what I want to do. I'm passionate about the brand. I know the team that's going to be surrounding me. I feel confident. But then you get in and realize there's a lot more that I need to learn about running a business. And I think it's great. We commend anybody who's willing to step up and take that risk, because let's be honest, at the end of the day, business is risk. And not everybody has the risk tolerance to move forward. I feel like we've been blessed with some great people who've decided to step up and become a franchise owner, a partner of ours, and we want to serve them as best as we can. So it's identifying what the challenges are for our franchise partners, and then helping them each overcome their individual challenge, because it's not just the challenges that we're seeing on the franchising side, whether we're talking about marketing or leadership or just teaching business basics. It's about seeing them and what their individual needs are and trying to best address those. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and you've said a couple of really good things, so I always want to kind of recap here and there. Franchisors have to go from operators to leaders, which is really, really critical. And a lot of founders of franchises don't get that, and all of a sudden they're dealing with something that they just can't be everything to everybody and wear all of the hats at the same time in franchising like they used to. So they've really got to make that transition or shift. The other thing you said, and we here at FBE have worked a lot on this in the last 18 months, is the gaps that people bring as franchise owners, as new franchise partners. And I've been seeing that for years. I don't think it's going to go away, because I think people are attracted to the businesses that they have some real purpose and passion behind. So I think teachers are going to come into child enrichment franchises, but they're not going to have the business background or the planning background or the leadership background. you're going to have trainers or people that are into physical fitness that might be missing some of the gaps. We've always identified six gaps, not that people have all of them, but they'll have one or two of the 6 gaps, and it's natural to have that. And I love that you as franchisors have focused on, we need to see what individually are my franchise partners' gaps and help them in that area. So I commend you guys for doing that. So we've been talking about challenges. Let's talk about fun stuff. What are some of the highlights? What have been some of the fun things? What have been some of the greatest successes you guys have had since you've started franchising?
I'm going to say one of the most exciting things, aside from seeing more Pure Physiques, is seeing more client success stories as a result of having more Pure Physiques. The fact that we get every week on a call with our franchise partners as well as their team. We bring trainers on. We try to bring everybody together. And one of the things that we bring up at the start of every meeting is wins. Give us some wins. And we love hearing about each location, their success stories, the client who has completely reshaped their body, which is in turn helped to reshape the way that they function within their family or in their business, their work. It's really exciting to hear more and more of those success stories, but it's great because it's not us. It's not anything that we did that created that success story. It's that franchise partner. It's their trainers who are doing this. And that to me has been the most exciting and fulfilling thing about this.
Well, and all of it circles around friendly competition, which I think is very healthy in any ecosystem. So the friendly competition of different owners reporting their KPIs each week and seeing people hit highest revenue months, highest active member months, and watching each of the owners look and say, wow, I can't wait till I get there. And that owner turns around and says, well, let me show you how I did it, or let me help. That culture, it's always a top down, right? You can't make stuff up. If the culture is good here and it comes here, then it comes here, right? The clients are going to feel what that feels like. And I love watching our leaders lead each other, help each other. It's not an ugly competition where, gosh, my studio kind of stinks. It's, hey, how can I help you? How can I show up for you? Like, what resources can I give? Aside from the physical transformations of our owners, our trainers, and our clients, watching that is super exciting.
Yeah, and as you guys know, but my audience they're buyers of franchises, they're brokers, they're franchise development reps, and I want audiences, particularly the buyers and the brokers. This is a pair of founders whose biggest success is not what they did with the franchise, it's what their franchisees are doing. These are the kinds of people that you want to see leading the franchise units that you're recommending or that you're looking at buying. So sorry, guys, I had to get on my soapbox there for a little bit. So, hey, let's talk about surprises. I always like to find out, well, wow, I had no idea this is what we'd have to deal with. Or I had no idea we'd have this experience. So what kind of surprises have you come across over the last couple of years?
I think one of the big surprises was I didn't realize equipment installs would be so difficult at times. I think part of it for me is because I came up in this and I had such a love for the training equipment and learning the intricacies of it. When it came to buying equipment for our own studios, I mean, I was like very hands-on in the process. I was very particular, knew what I wanted, how it should function. And now I'm realizing as we're helping franchisees get equipment installed in locations, there's a lot of things that sometimes don't always go right in the install. Like you expect some professional to show up and put this stuff together perfectly, and then you realize it was a guy driving a truck with some tools, and he doesn't always know what he's dealing with. So that to me has been one of the surprises, that aspect of it wasn't easier, because I felt like for me that was so simple and so straightforward. But I'll be honest, it's a small thing in the big scheme of things. Once you get it and you get it set right, it's all good. But to me, I was surprised that was going to be as much of a challenge as it's been.
He
Corey
just
Beth?
loves showing up for the equipment installs. You love being there.
I really do, because there is a sense of I'm needed here. When the guy who came to install it is like, I'm not sure what I should do here, and I'm like, oh, well, you just got to do this, and that. And so there is that is the one time where I kind of feel pretty good about my position and what I'm doing in the moment.
Corey Beth, what about you? Surprises? Anything
I'll
you
say
didn't
a
expect?
pleasant surprise. I love sales. I love psychology. That's actually one of my degrees. I love talking to people. I love learning how people tick. And so sales is one of my favorite things. And so a pleasant surprise for me is offering a sales training that anyone in the organization can get on. Currently, I'm hosting it. I am training up somebody else to host that call. But watching the way that a lot of the trainers in other locations are really taking sales to heart, objection overcomes, how to button down the sale, how to advance people along, how to take back control or frame of the call. It is so exciting to me to have the benefit of so much coaching that Mike and I have gone through personally and professionally, and to be able to pay that forward and to watch the way that it gets implemented each week. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite calls each week, to get on, to pour that out to them and then watch them go and do it and then come back and report. It's like, I made my first set call in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm like, yes, that's amazing. It's things that you wouldn't learn in business school maybe, but it's things that are really, really important. And the fact that they grab a hold of it, total awesome surprise for me.
Well, and I love sales training that's out of the box, and you hit on some of those things there about it's about the psychology of the buyer. What's the buyer going through? What's the buyer thinking? It's not always about fancy statements or whatever, though you want to have scripts and you want to follow a flow that works, but it's very much about what's going on inside the buyer's head, which is awesome. All right, well, let's shift to your model, guys. I'd like to hear two things. Like to know, just share a couple of minutes with the audience about your model, and also would like to hear about who you're looking for. Who do you think is your ideal, as the young people say, avatars? Who's your ideal buyer and franchise partner?
Well, I'll start with a little bit about the program, what it is that we offer. So as we painted the picture here, I mean, it is a boutique strength training franchise, and we focus on helping busy adults who want to get strong, toned, and lean, but we help them do it with these 30-minute trainer-led small group workouts just 2 to 3 times per week. What's really intriguing about that for our customers is simply that every time they walk in, they're never doing the same workout. So they're able to achieve outstanding results in just a fraction of the time that they would normally spend working out, but also they don't get bored with the process.
Yeah. And I am so bored with my workout, and shame on me. I have not yet worked through what you sent me. I will do it, but before the end of the year, we'll get that. But I am so bored with my workouts right now, Mike. So I'm so mad at myself now. I haven't started the workout. But how about the person, Corey Beth? Who are you guys looking for?
Yeah, we're looking for a couple of different people. I mean, the first is the entrepreneur that wants to go out and build a business. Someone that wants a structure, a framework. They enjoy high vibe, they enjoy leadership, and they value personal growth. We also love power couples. I mean, we're probably a little bit biased, but it's fun to do life and business together. And so we are looking for other professionals that want to grow something, build something, leave a legacy. And then we're looking for people that are maybe fitness enthusiasts, but they're looking to build something that will continue to live. Maybe it's something they can pass on to their family, their kids. They can grow with their family or on the side of something. There's a lot of people, I think, in that first category of entrepreneur that are moving out of corporate America. They're tired of the grind. They don't want to do it. They don't want to, commit the hours, which, that can be another surprise too. In the beginning, you need a few more hours to get things up and off the ground. But having a set of proven skills, processes, and a model and a frame that works, we want people who are leaders, but also are coachable and enjoy being led because it works.
Yeah, and there used to be that, and it's a myth that there's security in employment, and you can look all over the country. There's just large company after large company in all year have been announcing major layoffs, and so there's no. To me, there's always much more security in what I can control and I can directly impact, not in which list is my name going to be on when they go through the next quarterly downsizing, or right sizing. So, all right, last question. I promise. Last question. I always ask this question in closing as we're wrapping everything up. Is there anything else that I haven't asked or haven't triggered a response or anything that, hey, I've got my final couple of minutes with folks and I just want to be sure they know this? Anything we haven't discussed that you'd want to be sure gets shared?
I would probably just say that this is going to be a great lifestyle business for someone out there. Those people who are really seeking to make a difference, to do something they're passionate about, but maybe, again, we talk about the person who's sitting in corporate America right now, who they're able to follow the processes. They're great at what they do, but they're seeking more. For those people, we don't want to give them another 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. job to follow, but to build a lifestyle business, which for us, that's what this was all about. We didn't want to open a big box gym that's competing on low prices and come whenever you want workouts, because at the end of the day, I mean, that is not a game that I think a lot of us want to play. We don't want to play the game where we have to constantly focus on getting people in the door because it's a high volume, low margin business. What we're offering at Pure Physique is something that, as we mentioned before, it's a lean model because you only need 2 to 4 employees, but it's also very high retention because it is so hands-on. People don't feel as if they are just a number walking in the door. They are going to be known, they are going to be treated well, and the entire environment that we are building for them is one to build them up. That in and of itself is our core purpose. That is why Pure Physique exists. It's on the walls of every location. We build people up. And we want people to know that if they're coming on as a franchise partner, we're going to work with them to build them up so that they can build up those who are along the journey with them.
Well, the beauty of a franchise model, it's you do the same thing, right? You follow the process, you follow the steps. We were recently with friends, like the pickle goes here, the pickle goes here, the pickle goes, right? It's the same thing. The cool thing about this business is you do the same thing, but the result is always different. So it's almost like opening a new gift each time, because I don't know, Don, your blood pressure is going to improve. Mike's body fat's going to improve. My bone density is going to improve. Like it's a different package each time you open it up. So you follow the process and you do what's outlined for you, but it's always like a magical gift on the other side. And so we want people who get pumped about that. I mean, I hope it comes across our energy that we are very high vibe. We are hands-on.
Not at all. Not at all.
we love it, So if there's one thing that I could say, I think it's easier to repel those that you don't want than it is to say, like, this is exactly who we want. Like, we don't want NPCs, like non-playing characters, people that just go through the motion, they do the thing, they wake up. I mean, like, that is so boring. That was a great movie, by the way, with Ryan Reynolds. But, like, don't be an NPC. Like, don't be a non-playing character. Like, we want people that want to engage in their life. They are excited about building other people up. They want to lead. They want to enjoy, what it is that they put their hand to work to do and what they're building. And we're doing it for something greater than us.
They want to play full out.
That's it.
Absolutely. Awesome, guys. Hey, you've been great. Appreciate you investing some time with us. Thanks.
Thank you so much.